country. I'm glad that you are a former performing artist and a current one. So, Arabron,
Yes.
where are you performing currently and what exactly do you do?
Okay, currently, I'm not performing anywhere. This is due to the COVID-19 situation, partly because the program that I was in regularly, that is Mother-in-Law. But Citizen TV, during this third wave of COVID-19, thought that it was best to suspend the program because the age of many of the members of the cast is 50 and above. I won't say exactly where, above 50, but you see, so Citizen thought for our safety, it would be best to suspend the program.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did do a small bit in the program Selena. I think that was for about 4 weeks. But now, currently, as we are today, yeah, I'm not performing anywhere apart from right here.
Okay. So in Mother-in-Law, which part were you playing?
I was playing the part of Jack Mwamba, Jackson Mwamba, if you say the name in full. Yes, yes. So the mother-in-law story comes from my mother because of my wife, Alison. So many times in the story, my mother wants things to go her way. Of course, my wife wants things to go her way. And then Jack gets stuck in the middle. So the whole issue was, how does Jack get out of this situation without offending his mother and without offending his wife?
I get it.
Yes, yes.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
Kiarie.
Yes, please.
You are former artist.
Put it better. I'm a one-time artist. The program was called Machachari.
Okay.
And they worked in fact, Mr. Arabron is the one who recruited me.
Okay.
And just to give a background, my initial role, I was part of the scripted, part of the organizing, and I was the production accountant. In fact, my work was more finance. But in the role and the cast, they came up with the character of Mr. Akoto. Mr. Akoto, that was a bragadio, a rich man, lives in the suburbs with two spoiled kids, Joy and Almasi, and a very confused relationship with the wife. So my role then as Akoto was this man who is aloof, was this guy who is seeing children grow, but he does not know what they do. He does not know the emotions. He does not even have a feeling with them. And this is a man who his relationship with the wife, so to speak, is magnetic. The wife is trying to make me become a homely man. And Akoto is a man who is chasing money, who is chasing big business, who has a big car. So, and in between that was now we were caught up in what Machachari was about. Machachari was basically about the children from the ghetto or the low-income areas and the children of the middle class or the rich, where I belong to. And the connection was our children are the ones who make their parents know each other. Yeah, so and that's where then I got the whole communication about the 360 degrees, how it works around from the parenting to the society to the children. Thank you.
Okay, so in the cast you said Baba who?
Baba Almasi or Mr.
You were Baba Almasi.
Baba Almasi, yes.
Wow. So I have Baba Almasi of Machachari and Jack, Allison's husband in Mother-in-Law.
Yeah, okay. That's right. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Okay, yes. Okay. But Jack before, not Jack, Arabron.
No, it's okay. It's okay. They're both me.
So Arabron, after Mother-in-Law, after you got this break, have you been doing something else with another production, maybe not a TV, but something else?
Well, no, not really. When I'm not performing, usually I'm trying to look for something of my own that I can do, which I haven't found yet. I don't know whether it's because my scripts are complicated, maybe they're too simple, I don't know. But no, my life is just predominantly performing. I don't do anything else. I don't do any accounting like Kiarie. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm just me.
Someone mentioned that they saw you on Netflix.
Netflix. Oh, yes. Now, that was a local movie called 40 Sticks. So, yes, that is my first full feature movie I've ever been in. I don't know why. Maybe my face is good for TV, not good for movies. I don't know. But yes, I did the character of Amigo. He was the main prison warder in the movie 40 Sticks. And he was meant to be a very uncouth, very rough, very unpleasant person. So I'm told I pulled it off. So anyway, I'm happy. I'm told. I don't know. I'm told. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. That's really good. I like to hear that you are in acting even after some people think that you need a break because of your age. But let's get to how are filmmakers made?
How are filmmakers made?
Yes.
Okay, now, when you say that, of course, when we say the filmmakers, let me go into the producers. Of course, just like anything else in life, you have to go to school, you go to college, you study the whole aspect of film production. And then from there, one decides to maybe specialize. There'll be a producer, somebody decides to be a director, others prefer to be in the crew itself, which, of course, I'm not really qualified to go into. But yeah, before you get into any kind of performing arts, you do have to go to school. You have to study it these days, yes. Although, if I may say, before, yeah. The truth of the matter is, though, in performing arts, to me, let me not speak for everybody else, but to me, what is really important is the talent that exists in someone and then their own personal desire. If you have the desire, you will do it and you will manage. Thank you.
Exactly. I asked because Kiari had mentioned that you are the one who recruited him and you look like the guru in this industry. And so how do you just look at people and say they can play this part, they cannot play this part? Kiari, did you have the passion? Did you have the talent? Or you just walked into and it was by chance that you were appointed by Badmasi?
I would say it's a combination of many factors. One, it was my weight. Back then, I think I was a whole 106 kg of weight, and Arabron was looking for some braggadio looking, because the rich was associated with weight, with this big man weight syndrome. And two, it was also a bit of chance because I was part of the whole script, in the part of the conversation from day one. So basically, there was also the aspect of just flowing around, just understanding the vision and just trying to, because I was part of it. But most importantly, also, it's also the background. The background of the script was around where I come from. I'm born in Eastlands, I'm raised in Eastlands, I'm married in Eastlands, I still live in Eastlands, and I'm about 50 years old. I'm closer to 50 than 40. So it's a combination of that. So that also means that, some of the conversation around the script touched on me and my personal experiences within the community. Other than that, there's something around that was also mentioned, very important. There's something called an innate talent. I think a lot of us have gone through what is called curricular-based education, where you are told that for you to be talented, you must pass through the academic. That means you do well in school, you get grade A's. But in the same society, we have musicians, we have poets, we have people who are better on polytechnics, on TVETs. So I think Arabron mentioned something very important about the passion. there's a while back, just to get you back, is there used to be what was called secondary school drama festivals and music festivals. In fact, in the 80s and 90s, a lot of the schools in Kenya, they were more known for the drama and music than the academic part of it. So it nurtured a lot of people whose talent was discovered. In fact, right through primary, we used to have what was called debate clubs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what you used to call this spoken word. People could stand. So I think those are the kind of the seeds. Those are the germinated seeds of the talent around the performing arts.
True.
What Arabron did not tell you, and I want to break it down for him because he might beat me after this, is that Arabron and a lot of people, they were the first people in the Kenyan National Theatre back in the 80s and 90s. Theater, even before TV, theater. You see, and a lot of the inspiration, a lot of a whole generation was inspired by them through theater. Through theater. You see, back then there was traveling theater, there was set books of literature schools. Arabron and his contemporaries, Jimmy Gathu, late Lona Irungu, Charles Carey, Ian Bugwa, Kajatan, and many others. They inspired a whole generation who moved from theater to film. There was a transition because first there was theater, then it became to TV. Those days of Tausi, Kisulisuli, then it was a small transition, but they all started from theater, and they all grew out of the passion because back then theater was not paying. It still doesn't pay because Arabron is still looking for the Mercedes Benz.
Well,
I was going to ask you just now, Arabron. Then it means when I hear Kiare, it sounds to me like you're such a guru, man. You've been there long. You know this thing really well. And I want to ask you, like, how much money have you made? Did you guys make a lot of money?
Well, the truth about film and TV, the performing art industry as a whole in Kenya, is that it's not really developed. It's like we artists are really struggling on our own to succeed. Now, I can hear Kiare saying, I'm a guru, I've been there, for the longest time. But, when I got into theater, I found people already there still trying to lift up the art of theater. Jacob Otieno, there's Aganodero, Obi Obiero Diambo. There's so many others. There's Peter Mudamba. These were people who were there even before I got there. You understand? So I don't know. When I came into theater, because I've always had that passion for acting and performing, and I was educated up to what can I say? Because Americans use grades. Let's say I was educated up to 8th grade. In an American system. And in the American educational system, you do get your opportunity to perform in theater and do other things as part of the curriculum. So, yes, when I came to theater in Kenya and found Jacob Otieno, who I've worked with mostly in theater, by working together, I also learned a lot from Jacob about the art of performing on stage, the techniques of performing on stage, because there are techniques. You don't just get on stage and with your talent, you get going. You understand? There are certain aspects that you must understand, certain technicalities. So, yes, on stage, I don't know. You see, other people have to say, I don't like to praise myself because whenever I watch myself doing anything, I always feel like I could have done better.
I know.
So for me, I'm just pleased that people found my performances to be pleasing to them. I'm glad they enjoyed them. And on stage, I did I can't say mostly, but I started with comedy and farce. Comedy and farce, you use a lot of energy, because you're going this way, you're going that way, you've jumped, you've come down, you've done, that kind of thing. And that's how I started. But then later on, I thought, no, I'd really like to get more into drama. where you can express different kinds of emotions better. Anger, sadness, love, bitterness, you name it. You understand?
Yeah.
Like I say, people enjoyed my performances on stage because they enjoyed. I continued, and then eventually moved into social media.
Kere, if Kenyans enjoyed what you guys do, and each Kenyan just gave a shilling, why are you still looking for Mercedes until today? Why are you still stuck in Eastlands? For the love of it or for life issues?
One, and they can see Arabron smiling. One, it's because Arabron has said correctly, performing arts in Kenya has not been given the due prominence by the government. We start there. And up to date, you see, the ministry, it's called Sports, Arts and Culture. That means the culture and the arts, it's lumped under others. We don't have a standalone ministry like Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance, where you can say this is it. Number three, a lot of the there's a whole generation which believes that arts is what you do after school.
Okay.
What I mean, just like the way sports was being touted as PE, physical education, like it was a subject that was, in fact, when you had double maths, the PE teacher would cancel so that you had double maths. So that was one of so that's the first problem, the government recognition of arts and culture. Number two, something called heritage, culture and heritage. We as Kenyans, what defines us? What defines Kenya? Tunasemanga wewe ni Mkenya, so what is the Kenyanness in us? For example, everybody knows the Ugandan culture and the heritage, their dress code, their food, etc. So I think Kenya, we have been struggling to find our culture, our heritage, that one definition of a Kenyan. I know we have gone to great lengths. We have gotten even the Kenya uniform. I know we have tried. So that has also been a bit of a negative to us. Number three, in terms of recognition, there's a lot of do I dare say cartels?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because what it is, it seems there are a small clique of people or persons controlling
the cartels.
The cartels. So that means that your talent, just like in any other field, just like in music, just like in sports, you can have the best musical talent, but you don't have people who recognize and appreciate you easily because you are not aligned to certain cartels. So that is another. So that's another one. Number four, we have unfortunately, and this I say unfortunately because the financial management aspects of artists has been wanted, and just not Kenya. This is more of a global issue. There's been a lot of pressure, both from your family, both from the extended, and perception. What Arabron likes calling the champ mentality. The champ is you're a star. You see, when Arabron was Arabron and he was in the theaters, he could walk around with a swag in town because he was Arabron.
Without a Mercedes.
You see, back then, I mean, back then, because he could shout at a pub. He could flip channels and he could do nothing about it. After all, that's Arabron. Who doesn't know Arabron? So sadly, what happens with performing arts, just like in music and sports, there's no class we are taught about financial management. And so you see a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, a lot of people, a lot of even poets, they live on what you call project by project.
Yeah.
Project means that means you are in this production, you start, you end, you get your money, you wait for project number 2, start, end. So in between, we are not, there are those classes on financial management. Number 5 is there's something called perception. Perception means people who see you on big screen. They translate that to to success, to wealth, to doing.
Exactly.
People don't know that Arabron walked from Kenya National Theatre to Southlands during his days. Not because he was trying to keep fit. It's because he didn't have anything. Thank you.
And my shoes also had no sole, but you couldn't tell. From the top, the shoes looked fine, but underneath, the sole was not there. So I had to put cardboard, so long as I could move.
And you were going to appear on a big screen.
Exactly.
In those days, that was the days of theater. Then a little bit of KBC, VOK. But that was the situation. Even if you're going for a meeting, you go with your shoes that have no sole. Just make sure you keep your feet on the ground.
How is the government trying to tap into this to change the lives of the young people and also to honor those of you who have been here to keep life on the screen going? Because even the TV stations, I mean, if you guys have been here keeping their viewers alert and looking forward, how come they have not, paid you back?
Oh, okay. Now, I cannot really speak on behalf of the government and their attitude towards us. The best I can do is, from my point of view, say what I feel is going on. Because in my opinion, and others have their own opinions, I do feel that the government could do a lot more for the performing arts industry in the country. Now, when I say performing arts, I know people are thinking TV and film, okay? But performing arts, we have acrobats. What other kind of, we have spoken word, we have poetry. There's so much that comes under performing arts. You understand? And you see, I do believe that if the government supported us better, gave us more opportunities, helped us to be marketed abroad, I do believe that we could go a lot further. Because when it comes to talent, like I talked about latent talent, the talent for performing arts in Kenya is, what can I say? I don't think there's a word in the English language to describe it, because there is so much talent. You understand?
Yeah.
Then again, now, while I'm saying this, let me say this, because also when I say support from the government, we should, to me, have TV programs from our rural areas, mashinani, okay? Now, without being tribal, let me just say, like the Kikuyu should have a Kikuyu film and TV industry, radio industry, acrobats, you name it, a whole performing arts industry. The Western, Nyanza, Eastern, wherever, you understand, we should first satisfy the need for TV and performing arts production in Kenya before we start thinking about being exposed out there and being accepted out there. You understand? Because sometimes I feel that some of the films we do and TV programs, as good as they are, because they are good, but to me, they seem rather Western aligned, if I can say it that way. It's like we're trying to tell a story from the West as opposed to trying to tell a story typically from Kenya. That's just my opinion. Yes.
That's exactly what Kiari had said, that we are still struggling to find our identity, even as Kenyans. When you mention Kenya, sometimes people just think Kenyans are full of Maasais, and if you're not in a Maasai place, so you probably are not Kenyan. So when people come to Kenya, there's a picture they're expecting, which we hardly show. So we are still trying to find our identity, and I agree with Kiari. Now, Kiari also mentioned about financial management. I want to believe that there are artists who have been able to make money, but we don't see this money. Is there an expectation from society that you guys struggle to live by? Is there a lifestyle that society has, put on you so heavily that you want to reflect? That you want to show that, this is who I am and this is how I live. Because if you have been paid some money, I think then you can improve your life a little bit. What would you say?
Okay. Once again, I have to speak from my opinion. But an artist is an artist. Okay? in general, not all of them, but in general, artists tend to spend everything that they get. Okay. Now, this happens in Hollywood as well. I know in Hollywood, they seem to think that those guys have money continuously running out of their nostrils and other orifices of their body. But the truth of the matter is, even them, even if they're paid $30 million, you know, to do a lead role, the truth of the matter is money comes to an end. You can't keep money forever. You understand? And then again, like you say, their image, their standard of living, they want to show that they are stars, you know, so they have to have big cars and they have to dress in designer clothes, you know, and that kind of thing. Now, for me personally, and this Mercedes that people keep asking me about, I do not have a Mercedes. If I ever get one or buy one, I will be happy because it is a very nice car. But right now, it is not a priority in my life. Do you understand? I have a large family. I've got 7 children. Okay, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. They need to be educated. They need to eat. They need to have clothes, you know, good-looking clothes, not designer, but good-looking clothes. You understand? So for me, that's where my money goes. Even if I was to earn 10 million shillings now, I would not put a down payment on a Mercedes. I would not do it. You see, I would look more into what can I do for the future of my family. You understand? Yes. Buying plots, like you buy a 1/8, that's for the eldest, and you keep, you know, you buy it here and there to try and help the family. Yes. You understand? So because to me, so long as you are comfortable, you yourself and your family, what more can you ask for? But there's no need buying a Mercedes, trying to maintain a Mercedes, and then at home people are malnourished. It doesn't make sense to me.
Actually, Mercedes is not even a very expensive car. It's just that the maintenance is what people make really exaggerated. But it's not an expensive car because we have, you know, the C-Class and the S-Class. If you're talking about S-Class and ML, yes, that may be so difficult for you to buy. But Kiari, where is your son, Almasi? Where is your friend, Omosh? I mean, what values do we now see? What's not happening to them right now?
Before I get to that, I just want to add a bit more on the government. There's something you had asked Betty earlier, and we just want to add to what my friend Arabro has also said, just for a bit. One, there's something called the cultural heritage. In the government, there is KWS, which markets the park. There is Magical Kenya from the Kenya Tourism Board. There is Brand Kenya Initiative. One of the things they would also do in trying to promote Kenya as a tourism destination would also to use performing artists. Because there's something you have said about when KWS, as an example, KWS is a story that has been told by other people using the Nat Geo, using the encyclopedia. But Kenyans have not been given an opportunity to tell their own story. So I think performing artists would be one of the key people to tell the story. Just through arts, through spoken word. That's one. Number two, just more the government. A while back, we used to have, for example, the Lamu Food Festival. Lamu Food Festival used to be there. We used to have the donkey racing, also in Lamu.
Yes. Yeah,
we used to have the canoe. I know Arabron is half low. So depends on what day of the week he is. So he wants to go Nyanza. So there used to be at Mbita, there used to be what you call canoe racing back then. Those were cultural identities. And actually, right now, as much as the bullfighting is frowned upon by certain quarters, it actually reignites their cultural identity. And that is what art is about.
Yes, that's what art is about. It's about culture. It's about our, it's about where we came from also, you see. And particularly because we're Africans, we are very deep in culture. You understand?
Yes.
And if we go back into our own histories, and you can do that through film and TV. Let's have a TV program about Mekatilili. You know, a serialized story about Gorma here, about there are so many. Okay, every single part of the country, every single ethnic group has got their heroes from the past, and we, the performing artists, it is our duty to show all of this of our past, our history, and our culture to our people. It is our duty, but we do need help from the government. They need to support us. Instead of fighting us, they need to support us.
I wondered what was hindering you, but you have said that you need help from the government to do that.
Yes. If only they could open up to us, you see?
Yes. Don't you have, you've got a ministry, and I guess you got spokespeople. But Kiarie, back to where I asked you about Omosh, you know, what happened now when you have been so famous and now you are laid off, and what we see in social media is that you are broke, you know. How does that get to the society? You have been former Baba Almasi. What are you doing right now? Where is Almasi, your son?
Okay. Well, I also not speak as a rabbi and say my opinion, and to use his words very choosily. Almasi, Omosh, and many others, they represent a fraction of the industry. And just now, generalizing the engagement is, they are just like we have good and bad doctors.
Yes.
We have good and bad lawyers. I would say we have good and bad wives. That would be gender in a show. but now we also have artists whose financial management is also not prudent. Just like as a Rabban said, I mean, he's a father of 7. So out of the 7, perhaps two are like this, 4 are like the other. Now, Omosh and many others, they also just form a clique of the people who, by a twist of fate, their plans did not go as desired. And and I just want to take this past Kenya. We Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, there were many performing artists across the world. They have also gone through the same path. So I think, to me, I would get this more into a generalized statement and say artists, just like any other field and industry, they also need 1, financial managers, 2, counseling and psychologists. Because a Rabban can tell you, and I am also a testimony at time, when during the Machachari, we used to do this, we used to go, now like when I'm moving from set to set and people would stop us, you see, on the streets. I mean, I have a personal experience at a supermarket where a lady cashier stopped me when I was doing my checkout and said, Baba Almasi, lakini you are mistreating your wife. Baba Almasi, I tell you, you should not do like this. And so it ended up being more of a lecture, attracting people. But the lady was just seeing me as the artist, was not seeing me as a shopper. Quite an elderly lady, and very respectfully to her, she was concerned about the character and the mannerisms of Baba Almasi on set. So she took time off at the checkout point at the cashier to lecture me about do's and don'ts, about the duties of a husband and all. So my point is, those are expectations of society. When they see a Rabron on set, when they see a Rabron at the Kencom at the bus stop, those are 2 different people. A Rabron likes using the word character, being in character. When those days of Kenya National Theatre, when you could see a Rabron on stage, he was totally different. But the sad truth is, a lot of people, me included back then, we used to see a Rabron walk out of the theater and expect him to be the same character he was offset. So that is one. Number 2, Betty, is about what we call child actors. Imagine how hard it is for the pressures of growing adults in theater. I can tell you for a fact, the child actors' pressure is twice as much. The expectation is twice as much from their siblings, from their peers, from their classmates. Those children in class 6 in a school. So you imagine that suddenly you become the star of the class or the star of the school. It comes with its own set of pressure. And then those pressure, unfortunately, we are not guided enough. That's why I mentioned counseling and psychology. We are not guided enough in how to behave in certain area. That's why you found Rabron reminded me a while back about this. What is the main character of Different Strokes? That short.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember his name or even the real actor's name, but yes.
Yeah, so his name was Simon Todd. He was a young actor. He started acting at the age of 8. He had a problem with drug and substance abuse when he was 16. Yes. And I think at 21, he had tried to go into guns and gun sales and all. That just showed you it's not a troubled childhood, to speak. It was more of he became a star. And those stars, Betty, they are also found in sports. Just like
I think it's very important as in the film industry that you get to have people that you're mentioning, the counseling psychologists, because if you have children who are actually actors and someone gets what they call success at that early age, and success to them is probably having 100,000 at 8 years old. That's too much to handle. Is there anyone there who teaches about handling success? Because definitely these children are going to go astray, having not learned about self-control and financial management, and also dealing with the pressure that, I am a star. Do they even value education? Do they even have a reason to struggle in class and perform and have the exams done the right way? Knowing that they have this theater time and there's money coming in, they can only but get themselves into drugs and into such kind of lifestyle without a guide in their lives, without that counseling psychologist. And so I don't think it's a strange thing or new thing if we hear that those who got into acting while so young have gotten astray and are living such kind of a lifestyle, abusing substances, So what exactly is happening? Is that being improved right now after this realization? Yes, Sarah.
Well, if I may, once again, my opinion. You see, the thing here, more even than money, is attention. Now, the moment you go on TV, if you do a good job and people actually like the character you are playing, you will get a lot of attention. Like Kiare was saying, you will be walking down the street, you're worried about something, you are going to deal with something that's really stressing you, and then all of a sudden somebody stops you, somebody's in front of you, and they expect you to smile and be happy and be the person they see on TV. You understand? Now, over time, one begins to get used to that attention. You go out in public expecting people to recognize you. Now, sometimes it even goes to the extent that you can get a free matatu ride for those of us who don't have Mercedes. You can get a free meal in a restaurant. There's a lot you get. For those who go to the pub, I'm telling you, what a chafua meza on your behalf, things like that. Now, once you no longer have that, you're no longer on TV. It's called the visibility. Once you no longer have the visibility, slowly but surely, because people pay attention to what continues to come to their attention. Now, if you're no longer on TV, you're no longer coming to their attention, slowly but surely you start becoming an ordinary human being again. And not many people can deal with that. You understand? So you keep on wanting the attention, you keep on seeking the attention. Like there are some of my fellow actors, I see them on social media and the kind of things they're doing on social media, the kind of things they are exposing about themselves on social media. And it's really happening because they still want attention. They want that attention. I'm still visible. Here I am. Atakama, I'm not on TV. Here I am. But unfortunately, what happens is that the attention becomes the priority. You start giving out information, private information about yourself, about your family. You understand? You no longer have privacy. And it's not like the paparazzi who come to you to take your privacy away. Now with this social media and what I see some of the artists doing is you are taking away your own privacy and giving it to the public through social media. So the real problem that the psychologists need to deal with actors more so than the money, like I say, is this issue of attention. Okay, I have 7 children, and let me tell you, every one of those children needs attention, including their mother. So now, you see, somewhere, somehow, you understand, because they're my children, I will find time to give them attention. But sometimes as you're giving attention to these 2, there are 3 who are also wondering now, why? What about me? Why am I not? I don't need to understand what I'm saying. And
yes, I do.
So can I say an artist becomes like that, almost like a child, attention from, you can't say your parents, you're seeking attention from your relatives. These are people out here, your uncles, your cousins, your friends who, and I'm telling you, once that attention goes, for many artists, it has a very negative psychological effect on them.
Wow.
I hope not on me, but
Kiari, how do you deal?
One, and thanks, Arabron, for expounding on that. I think it's human nature for attention from when you're born. I think attention is human nature. Let's start with that. I mean, and attention is actually in what you do. That's why you see, even in class, when your child does well, mommy, I've passed. There's an attention to it. How you deal with this is one. I think it's to have it grounded. To have it grounded into character, that you are 2 people. You are the character on set, and you're your name in the street. So that's one way to deal with this. Number 2, and this I want not to delve more about the child actors, because as we are saying, we're developing the industry. That means you're also looking for untapped talent from the growing youth. The other things is also to have what is called continuous counseling engagement on set.
Yes.
As we prepare them to become superstars, we also prepare them psychologically for what it is they are going to find ahead.
Exactly.
And Arabron and many of his age, they were not fortunate enough to have people who could hold their hands, and more of them waded through.
Right. Yes.
As guys who came a bit later, whatever, at least as we had them, Arabron and others, who could tell us, hey, Apana, when you're going to this way, when you become on TV, you also change this about your image. You start also dressing. There's some aspects about you that needs to also change. Now, to the child actors, remember, at the end of the day, they are children.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they are children. That means their parents and guardians, they also have a role to play. I know some of the parents and guardians, they let the children go to the cast and to the production team and let them get to know the lessons from the production team. But just like the way parents and guardians interact with teachers,
yes,
it is the same way parents and guardians need to interact with the producer or the production team, so that there is also a relationship. That child knows, after I'm done with my script and my set, I need to do my homework. That child knows I also need to play with my other children and siblings after this. I think that's where we need to drive these conversations, Betty. Thank you.
It's really difficult.
If I may.
Yes,
if I may.
Yeah.
I would just like to mention about Machachari. Since when it first went on air, for the first 8 months, I'm the one who was handling the actors. I was their dialogue coach, making sure they're in character, make sure they have their lines, make sure they interact properly on stage. Now, during Machachari, I used to actually try and take time to talk to these children about it and let them know about what is going to come in the future as a result of them being on TV. Now, I can't tell you it has helped. I really don't know, because if we go into the lives of these children and some of the things they have done, wow, some things you do instinctively, subconsciously, you don't realize you're doing it. But look, this is the situation. Even abroad in the United States, let's use Hollywood. That seems to be the standard these days. Although the standard is going to be Cinema Kenya one day. Anyway, at the moment, the standard is Hollywood, okay? Now, in Hollywood, with celebrity status, of course, now you've got all these people. You've got these designers, people who make designer clothes, okay? They want to use you to market their products. You understand? So you're wearing an expensive watch. When you go to an event, it's not yours. You're going to give it back immediately the event is over. Do you understand? The clothes, the shoes, maybe even the car that you came in is not yours. You understand? It's all a part of maintaining an image. Now, part of maintaining this image is people expecting a certain character, people expecting a certain behavior out of you. Now, the other thing is you become like a god. Honestly speaking, the way people, oh, I love you all over the place. Oh, you're fantastic. And you start thinking this is genuine. Oh, these people genuinely love me. And what can I say? It gives you a big head, so they say in English, but it really pumps you up. You start feeling like a god. And there's only one person who is supposed to feel like a god, and that's God himself. You understand?
Yes.
This whole thing of being taken like a god and people holding you up there to be, and I will tell you, this is one thing, even in Kenya, it's about to start. Once you're up there, people start cutting you down now, cutting you down. And that now when celebrities really start having their worst psychological problems. But I thought these guys loved me. I mean, I'm a celebrity, I'm a star, I'm like a god. Why are they talking about me like this? Why are they doing this? Because a lot of it will not be true. You understand? It will be So I am telling you, the whole psychological, what can I say, situation of being a celebrity was never something that was meant for a human being, in my opinion. And so
I understand. I understand why, for sure, you need counseling psychologists in the acting and film industry. We are unfortunately getting out of time. And before you get to share your parting shots with our viewers, I know that, Arabron, your voice is very familiar. You must have been doing some radio or TV marketing or advertisement for them. You could do one for us also.
Okay, well, yes, I've done one or two. But then you see, there are also a number of people who I have mentored in the voiceover industry for advertising. And so one or two of them use my style, kind of almost use my voice and my intonation. So a lot of what you're hearing is not me, but maybe my proteges. But yes, I do one or two here and there, yes.
So now you are the source. You being the source, you could do one for us. You are the teacher of those guys.
Well, not really teaching, but giving them advice, stress here, stress there, have this kind of attitude as you are delivering, that kind of thing.
Arabron is trying to downplay his guru, and I like him for that, because I think it's part of he's in character right now. Betty, I must tell you that I know him a bit more. Arabron has done many voiceovers in Kenya.
I know. And why is he saying one or two? Please do.
No. I know he's trying to be in character of one kidogo too, just a bit, But Arabron is a guru in the voiceover industry, and GBS TV would be one of the good clients.
I wish my wife was awake. I really wish my wife was awake. Because, just working at home, they work on the computer until 2 a.m. I don't like it. But anyway, if my wife was awake, okay, she'd have told you how she came to me one day. There was an advertisement on KTN for Luo Night. And she comes to me and she tells me, oh, by the way, this was a wonderful ad you did for Luo Night. I was like, who? What? When? And so she played it. And I told her, oh, that is not me. That's Robert. And she said, what? I told her, yep, that's not me. That's Robert Randall. So if he could confuse my wife, I'm sure you people are hearing other people and thinking it's me.
You're downplaying us and running away. Please do that for us before we get out of time. We also want to hear your parting shot.
I really don't know what to say as a parting shot. Please try and understand actors, even when they're not acting, because what we deal with on a daily basis is emotion. When we're acting, we don't deal with anything else. At some point, you're sad, but it's not you, it's the character. But for the character to be sad, you, the person, has got to find that sadness. You understand? So please try and understand us even when we are offset. People say actors are strange. We're not strange. It's just that we deal with emotion a lot more than the average person. That's what I can say. That's what makes us different. And we have an insight into spiritual things more so than more people who deal with more physical things, yes. But we are great people. Actors, actresses, we are great people. Let me just tell you the truth. We're great people.
Wow. There's reality to this more than we can see. And there's more need for the psychologists, because you also still get back to your wives and children, and they expect, there's so much expectation on you guys. Kiari, your parting shot. As you give your parting shots, I hope that Arabron is preparing an advert for us, for GBS and for Chungu Jamii.
Well, adverts, for an advert, we read what we're given. We read a script. We don't just come up with it, from the top of our head. Yes, okay, yeah. But
will continue. Betty, I can tell you this. Arabron will continue to downplay. I can tell you, this set, if you look at that set which Arabron has prepared behind them, the potted plant, the whatever, even his wardrobe, yesterday, by 6 p.m., he had put everything in order and ironed that shirt. That is that's a person in character for today's show.
Yes.
So Arabron, sorry, but you can't downplay me and Betty for long. Thank you. Now to my parting shot.
Yes.
My parting shot is one. Counseling and psychology is part of performing arts. Number two, financial management. At all levels, whether you are at startup, whether you are the guru, at whatever level, you need financial management. Prudence is everything. Three, and most important, Arabron mentioned it, I mentioned, perhaps more government interventions.
Yes, please.
In trying to understand, in trying to have a round table with artists and performing. Remember, we are changing generation. The people who are there in the 80s have changed to new thinking, new technology, and need even the fresh people to come and the government share with them. Number four, there's something called talent development. Talent development in schools used to play a big part. We had them in the 80s through the 90s. The 70s through the 90s. We request the government through the Ministry of Education, through the Ministry of TVET and Industrialization, to also...
And the culture.
Sports, Arts and Culture Ministry, to recognize talent development as part of child development. The CBC, I know, is one, and we are trying. The TVET is trying, but talent development becomes part of school curricula. Thank you very much, Betty.
Okay. Thank you. I hope that this information is going to reach the government, because there's Vision 2030 that they have on, how to help in the film industry. There's a Vision 2030 on that. I don't know how far we are at it. I hope it's coming close, and this can be considered. If Arabron is not ready, is Arabron ready? Before we get to a close.
Well, you want me to say one or two lines, sort of like an advertisement?
Yes.
Yes,
for
one of the
GBS
radio
TV?
ads. Yes.
Okay, I will try. What can I say? Okay. Let me just try something small. Okay. GBS TV, for all your information, for all your art information, and for your entertainment. GBS TV.
Wow.
Wow.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You indeed are a guru. Thank you so much, gentlemen. This has really been interesting. We have enjoyed being here with you, conversing about the reality of TV industry in Kenya. I hope that your lives get better as you do this, especially financially and also psychologically. It has been such a good time. Thank you so much for coming to GBS today. My name is Betty. I have been your host. See you next time.